thought he was already reading it in there.
Oh, I think.
Yeah, no, awesome. Thank you. All right, everyone, happy Monday. It's raining outside, so that means that everybody should be driving extra careful, although there was still an accident on Nogalitos. And nobody knows that the shoulder is for accidents, so 3 lanes were shut down. So I'm going to call the docket. If you're here, you need to let me know you're here. If you're on the front row, that means that you came in late, so you may not want to be sitting on the front row. All right. All right, when I call your name, please let me know that you are here. If you do not answer the docket, I'm going to assume you're not here and a warrant may be issued for your arrest. James Harrison. James Harrison. In custody, we have Gregory Morrison, James Stegemeyer, Joshua Hernandez, Crystal Martinez. Crystal Martinez. In custody, we have Brianna Mitchell and Torrance Knowles. If there's a Vanessa Rosano here, your motion has been withdrawn. You're excused. In custody, we have Dwight Basson, Roger Villarreal, Amethyst Garcia. Amethyst Garcia. In custody, we have Elicio Perez Rodriguez, Kevin Young. Thank you. Juan Garcia Sanchez. Fabian Vega is in custody. Ruben Rodriguez, custody. Christopher Black. Thank you. In custody, we have Stephen Miles, Mario Guerra, James Harrison, Renee Espinoza. Thank you. Omar Madison. Okay. John Michael Garza. Jose Garcia. In custody, we have Ruben Rodriguez, Priscilla Sosa. Scott Wilbur. In custody, we have Justin Cotton, Jose Garcia, James Harrison, Shantae Meeks. In custody, we have Daniel Ortiz, Arthur Beacham, Mario Tovar Hernandez. In custody, we have Nathaniel Mackey, Victor Espinoza, Jose Luis Villarreal. Justin Christie. In custody, we have Michael Bennett, Benito Garcia, David Gomez, Brian Christopher White. Thank you. In custody, we have Jorge Ortiz, Michael Bennett, Amethyst Garcia, Joe Martinez. In custody, we have James Hasso, Roger Campos, Jonathan Bolden, Jose Mercado, Joshua Hernandez, Arturo Vara. Thank you. Rodolfo Del Bosque, Larry Foster, Juan Delgado, Laura Botello. In custody, we have Kendall Blunt, Victor Mendoza, and Nathan Chavez. Is there anyone who came in late or your name was not called? Yes. I'm sorry, what's the name? All right, just have a seat. We'll call you up. Anyone else? All right, everyone. These are the rules of the court. I state these rules and sometimes people don't follow them, but Monday is a new day for us to follow rules. One, I try to keep the courtroom as least congested as possible. So what you do is the state has a box of files. You pull that file, have a seat after you give it to the state. And then once you're ready to approach the bench, you need to approach the clerk, have the clerk grab the file, have a seat. I will call you in the order of appearance. Do not approach if you have not spoken to the state. Do not approach if you have not spoken to your client. If you're just here for a reset, do not approach if you have not spoken to the state and spoken to your client. If your client is in custody, you need to let the deputies know so they can bring them out. Do not approach, do not hand a file to the clerk without having your client out here. And once your client is brought out from custody, do not leave the courtroom until you approach, because what's going to end up happening is your client is going to be sent back. We're recessing today at 11:15 and we have a jury trial starting at 1:30. So if you do not take care of things today, I don't want to say it's a prediction, but I predict you'll probably be called back at a time that is most inconvenient for you. So today is Monday. It's raining, so you don't have to water the grass. And everyone put some patience in your pocket because it's a new day. Let's be nice to each other and everyone confer.
Judge, very quickly on the Guzman setting tomorrow. I understand y'all are still in trial.
Yes.
I'm supposed to start my day in Hayes and then go to College Station. Should I just check in with Norma about?
Yes, just check in with Norma. And what we'll do is your client on bond?
Oh, no.
Yes. Okay, so what we'll do with your client, can I see the file on Guzman?
It's on tomorrow's docket.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, just call Miss Ferguson. It'll still be set,
Okay.
but because that's a jury trial, I'll let her know that you're excused from tomorrow.
Do y'all think y'all will be finished with this trial this week?
Case number 2022, CR 3022.
Can I get the Arturo Vara?
All right, can I see Scott Wilbur? Has he already been excused?
I think his attorney was just hearing to let they come.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, Larry Foster. Forward, please. Mr. Foster, how are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing, Judge?
Oh, Mr. Foster, I'm doing great. It's a new day. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
All right, so I received a report, and I always say when people want to speak to the court to maybe explain things, I'm always available for you to speak with the court. So you wanted, according to this, and if it's not true, just tell me, maybe there was a miscommunication. So the first thing is, it says in here that you don't understand why the reason you're on probation for 6 years.
That's not true.
Okay. All right. So you understand why you're on probation. All right. So you need to speak to me. What do you need to speak to me concerning?
I came in front of you in January on a DUI case.
Mhm.
And,
And I'm sorry, could you speak up a little bit?
you sent me to a lifetime. I spent 2 months
Yes.
in jail and I went to lifetime. I graduated lifetime. I have my certificates.
Congratulations.
You told me the next time you see me, you'll be at my graduation party. They kicked me out of drug, at the drug court. I can't be a part of drug.
Why not? I think I know the reason for that. So,
And that's why I'm back in front of you.
okay.
To try to figure out how we work that out. Because like I said, I've been doing everything I was supposed to do. I do everything I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm reading here that it appears that maybe you don't want to remain in Texas. Is that true? Where would you like to go?
Either Florida or Ohio, but I'm looking into sober living homes for Florida right now. It's really up in the air right now.
So do you have any support system in Florida, Ohio? Who's there?
I got a brother and his wife in Florida, and I got a sister in Florida. And I have a brother and a
Right.
stepmom.
So where do you prefer to be, Ohio or Florida?
Florida.
All right. So in what part of Florida?
Town.
Tampa. So the relatives in Florida, are they going to allow you to stay with them?
But like I say, I'm trying to get a sober living. I got information for sober living down there. But I can move right in with my brother and wife until I find a home.
Okay. So I'll let you transfer to Tampa, Florida, but here's the thing. It's the holidays are coming up, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all of those sometimes are triggers for people to drink, right? So what I can tell you is thank you. All right, thanks. You are going to have to do two things. Number one, before I allow you to transfer to Florida, you're going to have to have documentation sit to probation. One, that your brother or whomever you're going to be staying with wants you to stay with them. And that's going to be until you get a sober living place. So I'm not going to allow you to live there permanently. You're going to have to get a sober living place because you need to be on your own 2 feet.
Right.
Now, the other issue we have is the positive marijuana. What's going on?
Went through a big fight the other day, well, a couple of weeks ago. Yes, I did.
What was the big fight about?
Like I say, I was in sober living there in San Antonio. I couldn't stay there because of what was happening in me. And so I had to go back to my apartment. It's not a good environment. It's not a good environment at all. We got into a big argument. Yes, it's the first time since I've been out.
Well, here's the thing. Those are called backslides and you can't do that.
I understand.
Because once it ends up happening, then it's a slippery slope to using other things. For example, me on my diet, guess what? I always say, hey, I'm just going to have one Haagen-Dazs bar. But you know what ends up happening? Once I taste that Haagen-Dazs bar, I'm like, this chocolate, the almonds is so great. Why can't I have another one? And then, you go in and you get the little mini bars and then you eat two because you like, it's a mini bar. So 2 are really just one whole bar. And then before you look up, the entire package is gone. So that's where you are.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you had a backslide with the marijuana. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on the UA hotline. And test him for levels to make sure. And once it tests negative, we're going to do the UA hotline. So those levels need to start going down. You understand?
That was only one time. That was a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, all right. So I'll allow the transfer to Tampa, but he's only allowed to transfer to Tampa after probation. You receive a letter from his family saying that they are okay with him living there. And then I'm going to give you 2 months to find a sober living place because Christmas is filled with triggers for people. Okay.
Yes,
So probation, he said he has been looking into sober living homes in Tampa. which Tampa does have a good drug court program. Once you are transferred to Tampa, whoever that courtesy probation officer is, they'll probably be able to get you faster into a sober living home.
Yeah.
All right, is there anything else you need?
No.
And what county is that?
Cuyahoga.
I'm sorry.
Cuyahoga.
Oh, well,
I'm not
somebody
sure
needs to
spell
spell that. You got that? You know how to spell that? But how do you spell that?
Calla.
No, Cuyahoga.
Oh, the Cuyahoga, wait, oh, no, I don't have it in.
All right, let's spell it.
Well, that's me.
Okay, so let me use our friend Google. I mean, if you're gonna stay somewhere, you gotta know how to spell it.
Hillsborough County, I'm sorry, man.
Oh,
Stockton,
well,
Ohio, just Cuyahoga, it's Hillsborough County.
all right. Well, I tell you what, I can spell Hillsborough.
Hillsborough. Now, Your Honor, you sent me the lifetime, when I did my 90 days here,
Mhm.
and I graduated, I participated in.
I would have been there for the graduation, but you didn't call me. I mean, you didn't-
graduate.
you
They put me out of drug court.
Well,
It's not
well,
my
but I
fault.
mean, I understand why you were removed from drug court, but lifetime recovery, where you completed that, I would have showed up to lifetime recovery.
Yeah.
I show up to everyone who graduates. Yeah, we just had, I think, 20 people from the 187th court graduate from felony drug court graduation, and I went. All right, so probation will give you new conditions to sign. All right, good luck to you.
All right, thank
Stay
you.
vigilant.
I will now.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Juan Delgado. Juan Delgado. Come forward, please. No. Oh, once I call it state of Texas versus, that's when we're on record. All right, thank you. All right, could I see someone from Criminal Trial Division? Good morning. This is Juan Delgado for a compliance hearing. As a part of his conditions, I stated that I would need a letter from his doctor stating his ability to drive a vehicle and comply with all medical and psychiatric recommendations from Dr. Melendez. So probation is in receipt of a letter, and I have the letter from Melendez. I don't know, do you have it there, State?
I do not, I do have a summary.
And I don't know if the state has any objections to allowing Mr. Delgado to drive. Previously, he had been given the permission to drive to and from his employment only. And he was allowed 1 hour to get to work and 1 hour to come home.
Because it's, I guess the only slight, I guess a slight question, I don't know if y'all discussed this or not, but it looks like the most recent UA, there was some like abnormalities in terms of that it didn't appear to be human urine. You read that?
All right. Well, what we can do is, Mr. Delgado, before I consider allowing you to drive then, I'm going to need at least 3 clean UAs. Okay. Now, I do understand that there are issues with him with diabetes.
Yeah.
So that may throw things off with his medication. But so what we'll do is probation. We will do 3 normal UAs. And I understand the diabetes issue, but I want 3 normal UAs and then we'll come back and I'll hear this. Okay. All right. So at least we have the letter from your doctor stating it's okay to you to drive, because that was my concern because of the diabetes and everything that was going on with you, not on your proper medication. So once you do 3 UAs, then we'll come back. And I'm sure that the state will most likely agree to your driving more than you're being allowed to drive now. Okay, thank you. So just give me 3 good UAs and then we'll come back. All right, thank you. Who's here on Rodolfo Del Bosque? Rodolfo Del Bosque, if you can come forward. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Your Honor.
Hi. I have that felony drug court didn't accept you because you didn't appear for the screening or court review on October 6th.
Well, I can't do anything without reporting. I went to, I went and they said I couldn't go because I haven't gone to see my probation officer. I was supposed to see my probation officer on the 20th, but she rescheduled. So I've been waiting.
No, felony drug court is completely different.
Yes, I know, but when I went, they said I had to see my probation officer first. And since I had to do parenting classes, I was able to do parenting classes there so I could be familiar with everybody. But they wouldn't accept me because I haven't seen my probation officer. So I went to San Pedro and I registered there. I go on November 3rd in person. I talked to this girl named Rebecca. I've also been going to my AANA meetings. I don't have to, but I've been going, just so I won't be sitting around, to show that, I want to hurry up and get started.
Okay.
You know.
Did you have any gang affiliation or no?
No, ma'am.
All right. So this is what we're going to do. Even though felony drug court may be full. Yeah. Can you refer him back and let them know that there was a miscommunication? And if they are unable to take him, then he's to do intensive outpatient treatment with probation and sober meetings 3 times per week. But they may make room for him since there was a miscommunication. So that's what we'll do.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And I'm glad that you're maintaining your sobriety.
Yes, ma'am. I feel good. Thank you. Since I've been coming, I've gotten better at doing my ties.
Oh, well, I'm telling you, thank you for dressing appropriately. I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right. Probation will speak with you. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. There you go. Who's here on Arturo Vara? Thank you. All right, so we're back here because there was GPS issues, and the state was going to make sure that they inform the complainants or those who are involved.
Correct, Judge. And we did. There's one main witness that we've had contact with, who I think we were referring to. We did speak to him and let him know the address that Mr. Vada would be potentially working at. And he said that he has no reason to be over in that area.
Okay,
So he's aware of the possibility if the court decides to give him that would be where it would be at.
all right. All right, the court is going to call State of Texas versus Arturo Vara, 2019 CR 12034. Could I have the parties announced for the record for the state
Ryan Groomer for the state of Texas.
defense?
Alfonso Cabañas for the defendant.
And are you Mr. Arturo Vara?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we were here actually on the October 20th. Defense had filed a motion to modify pretrial release conditions, and he was asking that his client be allowed to work as a shop assistant and general laborer with A&A Electronics. And he's to be working from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Defense, is this a stationary location or will he be moving to different places?
It's stationary, Your Honor.
All right. And State, did you have a chance to inform your witnesses or the persons who are involved with this case of the court's consideration for the defendant to work Thursday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at A&A Electronics?
We did, Judge. We gave them that address and we did give them that information. That was a possibility.
Okay. And counsel, is your client the person who supports himself or does someone else support him?
Right now, somebody else supporting me is something, not working on doing nothing.
So he's been on full house arrest, Judge. It's one of his children, or his children, I should say. Supporting financially.
All right, State, do you have any objection to allowing him to work?
Judge, I think because of the nature of his criminal history and the charge, I don't think it's something that we would agree to. However, we will defer to the court based on the information the court has.
Okay. All right, I'll allow the defendant to work.
Your Honor, for the court's consideration, the defendant has also informed me that he's willing to offer his work schedule a week ahead of time to his pretrial release officer, just so they know his hours prior to his work week.
All right, so you need to provide your work schedule 7 days prior to your starting, you understand?
Yes.
Right. And Mr. Vara, this is just the court, this is just for work. So it's not for other stops, you understand?
Yes, I do, but I also got a lot of appointments with doctors.
All right, what are your medical appointments?
I got one for Wednesday, I get a surgery in my eye. And then I gotta go pickle derby for my spinal, and then after that, we're gonna do an operation in my back.
All right, so again, you will need to give that information to probation. When are these surgeries to happen?
This Wednesday,
That's late notice. All right, so that's this Wednesday, and where is that?
I can't remember the place, but it's
And what is that for?
for my eyes.
All right, and when is the other surgery?
The other surgery, the first, they're gonna do physical therapy. If we don't work, then they're gonna operate my back.
All right. So defendant is allowed to work upon presentation of his work schedule. Schedule must be presented 7 days prior to working. And you're to work at A&E Electronics. Sorry, A&A Electronics. State, do you have any objection to him going to his
For
medical
Judge,
appointments?
As long as his pretrial officer and or the court has noted.
So defendant allowed to attend all medical appointments. Unpub proof. So you provide proof of your medical appointments, you can attend the medical appointments. So I know that issue you have for Wednesday this week. So you'll need to provide them with something showing that you're down for Wednesday, okay?
Yeah, my PO already knows about that.
All right. And Ms. Ferguson, when are we coming back on Mr. Vara? I don't have a next date for him.
I don't think we had another date yet, Judge. I think we came back for this issue as well as there's a discovery issue I'm working with Mr. Cabañas on. I found the piece of discovery that we were both talking about. I'm just working on the technical side of getting it copied for him. I was trying to do that on Friday when I had some issues, but I'm going to try to get it to him by the end of the day.
All right. Can we have a 30-day reset for discovery?
I can do November 29th.
All right, so we'll come back on discovery for November 29th. Once you get that reset forms from Ms. Ferguson, you're excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Caroline, do you see what page Vara is on? All right, thanks. Who's here on Kendall Blunt? All right, if you approach and Mr. Blunt will approach. Good morning, Mr. Blunt.
Good morning, Judge.
All right, your attorney has filed a motion to withdraw. Did you have a chance to review that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Court is calling 2021 CR 1783, State of Texas versus Kendall Blunt. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Michael Villarreal for the state.
for the defense?
Raymond Martinez.
Are you Mr. Blunt?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, just one moment. Let me review your file. All right, where are we on this imaging and scan from the hospital? I know their discovery is set for November 4th, but where are we on that piece of information?
I'm sorry, Judge, this is a case that Michelle has been handling, so I don't have any input for that.
All right, defense, have you received that?
I have not, Judge.
Okay. All right, State, do you have any objection to this motion to withdraw?
No, yeah.
Mr. Blunt, do you have any objection to the motion to withdraw?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, why do you have any objection to it?
For the reasons he stated in there, my family has reached out to try and set up monthly payments, and Mr. Martinez would not set a set amount, only would say that he would set payments, and my family have made.
Well,
payments,
just
so-
one second. So, Mr. Martinez, do you wish to stay on the case?
I do not, Judge. I asked them to pay as best they could, and I've been extremely patient over the last year. Less than $1,500 has been paid on a very large balance, and at that rate, it's obvious it's not taking years. This case is not going to pin in the court for years. I was hoping through the discovery process and negotiations, we would somehow maybe get towards a resolution, and I could be even more patient, but it's clear this case is moving to a trial. And I don't want to get too far deep into the trial process without Mr. Brown having counsel that can dedicate the time to it that it needs. And I've already dedicated many, many hours myself and my staff.
All right. Well, Mr. Blunt, I'm not here to decide contract issues, but when you have a contract with somebody, the contract is the contract. Everyone here knows that whatever in the four corners of the document, that's the contract. So your attorney wishes to withdraw. I'm going to grant his motion to withdraw. Are you able to, your excuse,
Thank you, Judge.
are you able to hire an attorney?
No, ma'am.
Do you need one appointed?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you look up and see who we can get to represent Mr. Blunt? All right, just have a seat. We'll have an attorney for you before you leave today.
Thank
You're welcome. And Mr. Martinez, I am, when we have an attorney appointed for him, if you could exchange the discovery.
I'm going to Judge like explain what I would have to incorporate.
All right, thank you. Who's here on Mario Guerra? Good morning.
You should be able to see this one from a great distance.
Oh, okay. I love it though.
It's my
That's-
Halloween.
That's beautiful. I have mine at home. You know what? You and I are on the same wavelength because I have my spider at home. All right. So, Mr. Guerra, let me see where we are.
I can give you the heads up.
Yes, does it? Because I see a motion for continuance has been filed. It was granted by Judge Angelini. So where are we?
So we're still in a discovery mode and here's why, Judge. Between Michael and myself, we've sort of been alternating in trial. And we have not had an opportunity for me to get my investigator about, we have to come to the DA's office to view some things. And so that is what is on our to-do list that we need to accomplish. I know that the court has been resetting some cases to like December 6th and that would be fine. And we would feel like that would give us plenty of time to get what we need done.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. On this one, I need a 45-day reset for discovery. And after that discovery date, your plea deadline date is going to be a quick turnaround, probably within 2 weeks.
That's perfectly fine, Judge. We appreciate it. That's fine.
All right, so we'll be back on December 12th for discovery. And everyone, this is going to, unless there is something out there that you don't have, this is going to be the last discovery date.
We understand, Judge.
And Judge, it's just because this material is sensitive in nature, cannot be disclosed. That's the only reason that you have to come to the office to view it.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form.
Okay.
As always, thanks for dressing appropriately for court.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who's here on Jose Mercado? All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 8577W, State of Texas versus Jose Mercado. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Michael Villarreal, the state.
for the defense?
For defense.
And are you Mr. Mercado?
Yes, ma'am.
We're here for sentencing. You entered a plea of no contest on September 6th. According to the plea bargain agreement, there's a $1,500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. Cases are being taken in consideration, and there's an affirmative finding of family violence. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report?
Yes, Your Honor.
State
Yes,
defense?
Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report?
Not from the seat, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, just may I comment on one,
Yes.
on the evaluation report at the last sentence. It says it's difficult to ascertain the extent of the client's use of amphetamines due to his denial. That's illogical. It's difficult to
ascertain the extent of the client's murder cases, because he denied committing murder. That should be stricken, Your Honor.
Okay, and so that the record can be clear, your client has not been charged with murder. You were using that as an analogy or an example, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
No further objections.
Anything, State you wish to say?
No, Your Honor, this is an agreement and we're gonna defer to the abundant wisdom of the court.
All right, defense?
Your Honor, I believe he's expressed himself to you as he has to me and to the probation officer about his remorse and his awareness that he's got a mental illness that needs medication and he doesn't take it. That's the problem. We ask that you follow the recommendations and the suggestions of the probation department.
All right. And Esther Castro, what is his relationship to Esther Castro? I can't hear you.
She's my girlfriend.
All right.
Wife, yeah, your girlfriend. Okay.
I mean, I know you all agreed to no harmful or injurious contact, but I don't want him to have contact for now because he's at the jail. He's obviously on his medication at the jail, but he hasn't been out and about on his medications. And the court's concerns are that if he goes off his medication again, we're going to be back here for the same thing. So I'm going to want to see a track record before I allow you to have contact with her. You understand?
Sure.
Do you have another place to live?
Yeah, my sisters.
Does your sister want you there? All right, so I know a part of you, both of you entered into agreement where there's no harmful or injurious contact with Esther Castro. Is there going to be an objection from either side that I allow no contact? State?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
Temporary, no.
All right. So are you on SSI or will you have a place to work?
I have this aside.
How long have you had SSI?
10 years?
Do you have any children?
Yes.
What are their ages?
They're 6 and 5.
All right. What's their birthday?
Yeah, I got that one.
All right, you got to remember that.
Yeah, I know.
Because when one of them ends up asking you for the car keys, which they will, you need to know their ages, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to sentence you to 5 years deferred adjudication. There's a $1,500 fine that will be probated. Take in consideration County Court Cause number 6528881, night mag number 6711619, proof of SSI or employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. There's to be parenting classes with compadre y compadre. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. And where you're aware with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition.
Yes, ma'am.
Where you're aware with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent.
Sorry.
Knowing that, do you still wish to continue with this plea?
Yes.
All right. So there's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Esther Castro for 3 months. Probation, if he is on his medications, if he is fully engaged in his courses, and if Ms. Castro wants him back in the home and wants to have contact with him, then that can be changed to no harmful or injurious contact.
Yes, ma'am.
There's to be the BIPP course, MIC caseload, 150 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. Court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived, and the remaining of the hours will be waived once you complete the parenting classes. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular UAs. I'm going to want field visits. One time per month while he's with his sister. And then if he moves in with Miss Castro, then I'm going to want that 2 times per month for 3 months. And if he's on his medication and everything appears appropriate, then that can be as needed. Probation, is there anything else that he needs?
No, Your Honor.
All right, is there anything else you need from the court?
Oh, man, that's all.
Who will be your doctor once you are released? Do you have a doctor that you see?
Yes, I go through Crystal Counseling.
All right. I want him to continue with the counseling with Chrysalis Counseling, Crystal Counseling. Okay. So we'll add Crystal Counseling, and you're going to have to provide a waiver so that probation can make sure that you're attending those sessions. All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? And because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Mercado, I understand mental health issues. I understand when people go off their medications, but that is no excuse for what you did. You understand? So you need to stay on your medications. Your children do not need to see you acting outrageous.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And what is the tattoo on your neck?
The flower.
All right. And then the star and everything else?
Just the flower.
And the words?
Says Hollywood.
Says what?
Hollywood.
Have you
I'm
been to
from
Hollywood?
I'm from California. I'm not from here.
All right. So you need to put that on your chest to
No,
remember.
Not really.
All right. Good luck to you. Probation is
All right,
going to go
thank
over
you.
conditions. You're welcome.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, who's here on Fabian Vega? Yes.
Your Honor, we have 2 counsel in this case, myself, Eduardo Jimenez, and Roberto Ramirez.
All right, court is calling 2020 CR 6408, State of Texas versus Fabian Vega. Could I have announcements from the parties for the state?
Brittany Sparks.
Defense?
Eduardo Jimenez and
Robert Ramirez, Your Honor.
All right, defense has, well, let's start with this. Have you received all the discovery from the state?
Your Honor, it's come to my attention that there's at least one thing that we're missing.
What is that?
It's a sketch of the crime scene. I don't think the prosecutors are probably even aware that it's missing, but that's one of the reasons why we were late in bringing this motion, because we weren't aware of the orientation. So we're gonna ask the prosecutor after this, and they didn't know about it. We didn't bring it to.
All right, well, let's step back and see if they have a sketch of the crime scene, then we'll come back. Thank you.
Judge, I wanted to congratulate your team.
Thank you.
Rational.
Well, let me just see.
I'm on top of it this week.
But here's my problem with LSU. My problem is we're not playing. We're not playing the full game.
I'm sorry.
LSU, we're not playing the full game.
Well, but when you play as well as they did, you know.
Technically, they are playing 60 minutes. So
Yeah.
I gotta disagree with
You-
on that.
So you're like the first half is just them having appetizers, and they're like, hey, we're just waiting for the
Where's my
entree.
green wave in the top 25 right now?
Oh, hey, congratulations.
I think we were 25 last week. I didn't see where we came
I
out.
had to say that they're gonna lose this.
But could someone please be there for Cornelius Cox? Because he was having dreams that his team was going to the championship, and it doesn't look that way.
That would take a lot of surprises to get there.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, is your computer up?
It's a little, I mean, it's up.
All right, we need that information for Mr. Blunt. Okay. All right, thank you. Who's here on Priscilla Sosa?
Judge, I want to like to put it on the trial docket.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to put it on the trial docket. I've conferred with Ms. Sparks.
All right, Ms. Sosa, if you can come forward. Are you okay? Do you need a halls or? Okay. Let me just find her on our docket sheet.
Okay.
All right, so Ms. Sosa, let's start with why you were not on time.
Because I was at work, ma'am.
Because you were what?
I was at work.
All right, so here's the thing, docket starts at 9. I'm here at 9. Sometimes if I'm coming in and I see that the freeway is backed up like it was a little bit today because nobody knows that accidents are supposed to be moved to the shoulder. You know, we should probably eliminate the shoulder altogether since people are not going to use it. Sometimes I will give people a little leeway for that. But you know, docket's at 9, you got to make sure you're here at 9, okay? All right, so where are we on this case?
Your Honor, I've conferred with the state. There's still some potential discovery outstanding, but we'd like to put it on the trial docket. I think we need that kind of pressure put on.
All right, so what discovery is outstanding? Who's the prosecutor on Priscilla Sosa's criminal trial division?
Judge, there have been multiple requests from the state to the sheriff's department regarding crime scene videos that are being ignored by the sheriff's department. There have been at least 3 emails in the last couple of months that have gone unresponded to.
All right, so we're gonna get a response to that. So are you the prosecutor?
Brittany's on.
Brittany's the prosecutor, but she stepped out.
Okay, so Ms. Ferguson, on Priscilla Sosa, I need this set in state. Y'all need to subpoena whomever you need to subpoena from the sheriff's department so we can get the video. So we're not gonna come back for, you know, emails have gone to them and they're not responding to emails. Brittany, they were telling me this was your case. It's Priscilla Sosa. So we keep coming back for discovery, and that has been going on since May 7th
Yes.
for videos. So we're gonna reset this. And whomever people need to subpoena from the sheriff's office to come in with the video. And if they don't have this video, then maybe this case will be solved.
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Ferguson, I want this case reset within 14 days.
And Judge, just so you know, they responded to me and they said there are no videos that exist.
Oh,
But that was a response to an earlier email, and more emails have gone out since, is what I understand. So with the requests for some things.
all right. So we'll have them come in. All right, so we're gonna come back on November 15th, state subpoena witnesses, anybody subpoena witnesses, and we'll have them come in and we will see where this video
Thank you,
is.
Judge. May my client be excused?
Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form.
Judge, would it be possible to take her leg monitor off? I don't believe she's had any violations or anything.
We'll take that up on the 15th.
Okay,
Yes,
all right. Thank you, Judge.
you're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, you're normal.
Here you go. Who's here on Omar Madison?
Judge, she caught the wrong bus. He was a little bit late.
All right, so Mr. Madison, how long have you been catching the bus? You gotta know the routes. I will tell you, the quickest route to downtown is the 90, because it takes the freeway.
It goes near you.
Yes, well, if you end up on 92, that's Fredericksburg. All right, so where are we on this case? We were for discovery.
It had been reset for some discovery. There was 111 pages. The court signed a protective order, I think, on the 17th. I received it, I think, last Thursday. 111 pages, a very small font, single spaced records from DF, Department of Protective and Family Services.
Okay.
That I've got to go through my client.
And I'll tell you, a lot of those are duplicates, but I understand. So how much time are you requesting?
30 days.
All right, Miss, do you have all the discovery?
I think so.
All right, state on Omar Madison, I'm gonna need an acknowledgement of discovery filed. And Ms. Fergus, can I have a 30-day reset? All right, so we're gonna come back on November 30th. On November 30th, what's gonna happen is state on November 30th on Omar Madison, if you haven't already done so, I'm gonna need you to tender an offer to the defense and then we'll set it for a plea deadline date.
Sounds good.
Just get a reset form for Ms. Ferguson.
Will do. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Cox,
Yes, ma'am.
are you here to,
I don't have any thing on docket. I just want to come pay homage.
to LSU?
Kidding, I mean, thank. Good win. Congratulations.
Yes, well, you know, if only we could play a full, you know, the full game, that would be great. Yes. Just give me 1 second. Ms. Ferguson? Can you see if Carl Alexander or either Meredith Chacon can come over, please? Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here for Amethyst Garcia, who's supposed to show up for her FCR hearing. Contested hearing. Apparently she didn't show up.
All right.
I did talk to her over the weekend. She said she was on the way. Remember, she had left the state of Texas. Gone to
Yes.
Missouri somewhere. That she was coming back, but obviously she's not here.
All right,
So I've been waiting for about 45 minutes.
all right, we're gonna go on the record. Can I have someone from the state on Amethyst Garcia, please? Court is calling 2021 CR 2958 and 2022 CR 8569, State of Texas versus Amethyst Garcia. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Pretty start.
Defense?
Dipa Gallegos Carrillo.
All right, this hearing was scheduled at 9 a.m. It is now 9:55 a.m. Deputy Laura, is there an Amethyst Garcia outside the courtroom?
No, Your Honor, she is not.
And she is currently not in the courtroom either. Counsel, where's your client?
I talked to my client over the weekend, Your Honor. I reminded her about coming to court, that it was in person and that she needed to be here, that she was on her way into Texas. And I said, okay, then I'll see you on Monday, and that's as far as it went.
All right, state.
She asked that you forfeit her bond and issue a warrant.
All right, Caroline, is she on a PR bond or no?
She already has an active warrant, Your Honor,
Okay. And that's the active warrant on which case?
on that one. I believe the one, the MPR,
Okay,
I believe so.
all right. Well, the court will issue a bond forfeiture and remand your client without bond. If your client makes an appearance, then the court will reconsider. All right, thank you.
Does Your Honor want me to wait a little longer?
I mean, you can.
Let me wait about 20 minutes.
All right, thank you.
See that she shows up.
Are both of those cases,
She has a.
okay, all right, thank you.
Straight.
Well, what about Meredith? All right, see if Meredith can zoom in. Okay. Just one moment. All right, who's here on Arthur Lee Beacham? All right, where's your client? All right, so do you have all the discovery in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state on Arthur Beacham. We'll need the acknowledgement of discovery.
Okay. Judge.
And so she's requesting permission. Is this permission to travel?
Yes, Judge, he's under full house arrest. He has a funeral and a viewing coming up this week. The viewing is on October 28th from 5 to 7, and the funeral services will be on the 29th at 11 a.m. here in San Antonio.
We don't have any objection, Judge.
Okay. All right, so that will be agreed to.
Another thing, Judge, just this client is awaiting a competency evaluation. I checked with the magistrate court. The deadline is the 4th, but because he's on bond, they haven't assigned a psychiatrist to evaluate him yet. I intend to file a motion to compel after the 30-day deadline.
All right, so this is what we will do. Ms. Ferguson, can I get a date on Beacham for 45 days, please? All right, so we're going to come back on December 12th. And what we will do is, Ms. Ferguson, he hasn't seen a doctor yet. Can you see if you can help expedite his seeing of a doctor for the competency?
And just so the court's aware, Judge, I did also file a motion to modify conditions of bond, which is set for next week to allow you time to get the bond back.
Okay, so what are you requesting?
Just for the GPS monitor, Judge, my client's been compliant with the full house arrest for over 60 days. And we just like to present some testimony to see if it gives a little leniency on that.
You mean as far as being allowed to do other things, but remain on it?
Yes, Judge.
All right, have you conferred with the state?
Yes, Judge, but I thought that we needed to have the bond packet first, so I
Okay.
asked for a setting on November 3rd.
All right, so they have a November 3rd setting for a bond.
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
have a motion here. I didn't know if you needed a packet or not. You want the criminal history and stuff?
Yes. Okay,
I'll put it for November 3rd.
so we'll be back on November 3rd for that. However, if you all have an agreement and I have the packet and there's no issues that I see, then he may not have to come in November 3rd.
Okay, I'll definitely confer with the state judge. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
And here you are. And Mr. If you need to approach Mr. Wood, you need to have your file, because there's.
I told Norma.
Who's here on Stegemeyer? All right, Mr. Stegemeyer, if you can approach. All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 4788, State of Texas versus James Lawrence Stegemeyer. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Michael Villarreal for the state.
for the defense?
John Coons for Mr. Stegemeyer.
And are you Mr. Stegemeyer?
Ma'am.
Are you Mr. Stegemeyer? All right, you entered a plea to count 3, which is indecency by contact. You entered a plea of no contest on September 13th. There was a request for a PSI report, TAP evaluation, and MIG-MILF evaluation. And of course, through the nature of the offense, he's not going to be eligible for MILF. But have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your
Defense?
Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
According to the plea bargain agreement, it's a cap of 6. The state is remaining silent on your application. All right, defense, is there anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, if you'll recall, this is an individual who I struggled with, not with him personally, but because he had been diagnosed with dementia about 20 years ago by the VA. This is something that I had him evaluated for. Dr. Scott did at least one evaluation. I provided numerous documents to Dr. Scott and to the jail where my client's been sitting for the last, year and a half or so. Unfortunately, fortunately, unfortunately, Dr. Scott found him to be competent and did not see the same issues relating to my client's Parkinson's that the VA did. With regard to all of that, obviously I trust Dr. Scott, having known him, he's been around for a long time, and I understand his evaluation. I had him actually reevaluate my client based upon some additional information that I provided. He sent back a further evaluation stating that it didn't basically change his opinion of things. At that point, Judge, my client and I decided that the entry of a plea would be in his best interest. Judge, it's never easy for you to have a case like this in front of you with victims and especially someone that was a child at the time. I would tell you, Judge, though, that.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, just one moment. All right, yes.
Okay. Let's see, where was I? With regard to cases like this is obviously difficult for a court to even contemplate probation sometimes. However, we are asking that you give him that chance. My client is not a child anymore. He's an elderly man at this point in his life. And given all the health problems that he's had and with the Parkinson's, with the other issues that he has, I don't think he'll be any sort of danger or risk to the community while he's on probation.
So counsel, does he have dementia or does he not have dementia?
Well, so he has Parkinson's, and the VA has diagnosed him with Parkinson's related dementia. This goes back approximately 20 years. Again, as I was telling the court earlier, I provided all of that documentation to Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott met with my client and had determined on 2 separate occasions that my client is not incompetent. So, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do beyond that. And the reality, Judge, is I have not seen maybe the signs of dementia that would cause me to request a second doctor to evaluate him. Dr. Scott did the 2, and
Excuse me, Deputy Laura, you've dimmed the lights on us. You've dimmed the lights.
So,
Yes.
Judge, I would ask that you do give him the opportunity to be placed on deferred adjudication. He will have to register.
I'm sorry, Deputy Laura, you dimmed the lights. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with it, but I mean, we are close to October 31st. Okay. All right, yes.
So, Judge, again, with regard to my client's sentence, we're asking that you give him the opportunity on deferred. He will have to register as a sex offender. We understand that. He understands all of the conditions that he will have to comply with. The probation will not necessarily be easy for him. This is, again, with his health issues. I do believe that a placement in the MIC unit, if that's possible, would be very beneficial to them. The one last thing I'd like to point out, Judge, is that the complainant did not communicate with the probation department. I know that that's not necessarily something that can be examined one way or the other, but this is not a complainant who is raising Cain with the court or raising Cain with the DA's office about what should happen to him. So I would ask that you, given all of the information that I've provided to the court, that you consider that my client's application for deferred adjudication and place him on the deferred.
All right, Mr.
Judge,
Steck.
I know we're silent, but just as a factual issue, the victim is here after sentencing to provide a victim impact statement.
Okay. All right. And so, Mr. Stegemeyer, I want you to know that I've listened to what your attorney has said. I've internalized it. And I have read and combed through the PSI report to review everything. So what I can tell you in this court, and I think your counsel knows this, for me, I look at each case individually. It does not concern me, or I don't take into my consideration of sentencing whether there's media, not media, because to me, each case is supposed to be looked at individually and sort of in a vacuum of that case. The same way I tell jurors not to pay attention to anything that's on the news, I do that as well. All right, is there anything you wish to say?
No.
All right, the court is going to deny your application. The court will find you guilty. The court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with any minor children, no contact with any of the complainants in this case or the complainant's family, and Chapter 62 compliance. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review this document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. You said there's, all right, and then Mr. Cisneros, I'm going to take your case up next.
Thank you.
And Mr. Stegemeyer, it's a letter that's being read by the state.
Yes, I'm reading this on behalf of Ivy. If you look at me, I look like an ordinary, happy 23-year-old girl, which is what I want people to believe because I don't want them to know how miserable I feel in my own body and mind. When I was around 5 to 6 years old, my grandfather started to molest me. He continued to molest me until I was in 6th grade. I know people might think, why didn't you say anything? But truthfully, I was scared nobody would believe me. And it would be just another family secret put under the rug. I guess I had always hoped that somebody would notice signs of how uncomfortable he made me every time he tried to hug me or tried to sting pictures of me when I wasn't paying attention. This man took away my childhood, my innocence, and my trust in people, and left me with depression and anxiety. For years, I've grown to hate myself. I used to use self-harm as a way to even out the pain I feel on the inside. There have been countless times where I just want to put myself out of my misery and just give up, but I will not give that man the satisfaction. I'm working on loving myself, but I know that it's going to be a while before I reach that point because I have a lot to work on within myself. But I do hope that today will help me get at least one step closer to the closure I deserve. This man does not deserve to walk around free, to live his life. I know wholeheartedly believe you all should lock him up and throw away the key so this doesn't happen to any more people. No child deserves to go through what I went through.
All right, thank you. All right. Ms. Chacon.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. So the person you're going to be representing is Kendall Blunt. And I'm going to give you a 30-day reset on this case. Just so that you can confer with the previous attorney, Ray Martinez.
Okay.
To, exchange discovery and see if there's anything else you need. Ms. Ferguson, what's 30 days from now?
November 29th.
So we're going to come back on November 29th.
Okay. Do you know the defendant's SID number? I'm going to request a jail visit. Are they in jail or on bond?
They're
Sorry.
in custody.
Yeah.
And the SID number, just one moment. Mr. Blunt, the attorney that's been appointed to represent you is Meredith Chacon. She's on Zoom. The SID number, Meredith, is 1142132.
Okay. I'll schedule a Zoom visit with him as soon as possible. It may be as early as tomorrow so we can meet.
All right. So she's going to need time also to get the discovery from your previous attorney. She knows who that is, so she'll get the discovery from him. And we're going to come back on November 29th to make sure that she has everything. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chacon.
Thank you, Judge.
Gregory Morrison. Court is calling 2021 CR 1160, State of Texas versus Gregory Morrison. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Brian Grimmer for the state of Texas.
for the defense?
From Mr. Morrison.
And are you Mr. Morrison?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Morrison, you entered a plea of guilty on September 13th. There is no application. According to the plea bargain agreement, your punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 30 years. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State,
Yes, Judge.
defense?
Your Honor, I have not. I just walked in. I've got 6 cases this morning. And I thought I was coming in I knew I was coming in at 10, but it was scheduled at 1:30, so I have not had a chance to review the PSI. I need to report to county court 9. I'm number 1 for trial over there.
Mhm.
And I need to tell them that if they give me some time so I can review the PSI and then come back and handle this.
All right.
So I think I can do it within 30 minutes.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
thank
Thank
you. I'm gonna
you.
go report next door with your permission.
Yes.
Thank you.
Who's here on Shantae Meeks? All right, your client was to appear by Zoom.
No, Judge, she's.
Oh, come forward. All right, so today is the plea deadline date. What is happening?
Ms. Meeks has reviewed the plea offer and declined at this time, Judge.
All right. So, Ms. Ferguson, I need a jury trial date for Ms. Meeks. How long will this jury trial take?
Judge, 2 days.
All right, they're saying the trial will take 2 days. All right, so your jury trial date is going to be December 5th. Your plea deadline date has expired. The court would not accept any plea bargain agreements in this case without good cause. Otherwise, you have to plea open to the court. Do you understand? All right, you'll be set in impact court. And state on this case, the court will need an acknowledgement of discovery done. All right. All right, and you're excused as soon as you sign the discovery acknowledgement and sign the reset form.
She needs to sign the.
Reset form, yes, the reset form. Joe Martinez. All right, where's Joe Martinez? Okay,
Allegedly, he's on bond.
okay. Let me see what page
One
he's on.
problem I have is going back and see what bond companies are out.
Well, do you want to go check with the bond company before I have a hearing? Or no?
Doesn't matter.
All right. All right, the court is going to call 2022 CR 8925, State of Texas versus Joe Garcia Martinez. If I could have his name called in the hallway, please. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Daniel Escobar from the state of Texas.
for the defense?
Michael Collins, attorney, present for your,
All right.
actually Martinez Jr. Your Honor.
Everyone needs to be quiet in the box. All right, this case was scheduled for 9 a.m. and it's now 10:17 a.m. Defense, have you had any contact with your client?
Not since he was in jail, Your Honor.
Can you check to see if he's on a PR bond?
Joe
It-
Martinez Jr.
Joe Garcia Martinez on page 14.
I doubt he's on PR because it was denied.
Because it was, I'm sorry.
Because it was denied the previous hearing that we had on jail. Bond hearing.
All right, deputy, is there Joe Garcia Martinez in the hallway?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
All right, defense, have you had any contact with your client?
Not since he was in jail, Your Honor.
State?
Your Honor, state moves for a bond forfeiture.
That will be granted. Your client will be remanded without bond. If you have contact with your client and your client makes an appearance, the court will reconsider.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're excused. Thank you. Fabian Vega. All right. So we're back on the record and 2020 CR 6408 and 2020 CR 6409, State of Texas versus Fabian Vega. All right, everyone in the box. No talking in the box. The court reporter is not able to hear. All right, so the court is calling 2020 CR 6408 and 2020 CR 6409, State of Texas versus Fabian Vega. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Marcus Sanders.
Defense?
Eduardo Jimenez.
And Robert Ramirez, Your Honor.
All right, so defense, you were saying that you did not have a sketch.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have the sketch?
I believe that the prosecutor is working on acquiring that.
That's correct, Judge. I looked at the copy that we have and it is, the way that it's written, it looks like a page is missing. I've reached out to our investigators to get another copy and I'll see if that copy has it. If not, we'll reach out to the officer to find out what's going on. But the pages jump from 264 to 266. So it seems like there's 265 that's missing.
All right, so Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Vega, recall this in 14 days, please, to make sure.
November 15th.
All right, we're going to come back on November 15th for discovery.
Your Honor, may we urge the motions which are not discovery related motions?
The motion for continuance may not be urged at this time.
The motion for the ballistics expert, Your Honor.
All right, how much you're requesting?
Your Honor, we're requesting $3,000.
Is that for the total amount?
Well, that, I'm just estimating, Your Honor. I haven't yet ascertained one.
All right, so of course, the court will approve it, but I need some information on what it's going to cost. So come back on the 15th with that information for the court.
I will, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Yes. Hello. Hi. Thank you. All right, there you go. You're welcome. Who's here on Roger Villarreal?
Good morning, Ron.
Good morning. This is set for a contestant on November 7th.
That's the one that they want from Travis County.
Okay.
We're not contesting this one.
All right, thank you. Have you done a trial court certification?
No, we have not.
All right, if you could do the trial court certification.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you.
Well, she wants to approach. She's sitting there. Crystal Martinez.
Are the parties ready on Crystal Martinez?
Your Honor, we may approach, Ms. Martinez wanted to address the court. We have a hearing session where I believe 11 o'clock.
Yes.
She wanted to approach the court.
Oh, come forward. Yes, you wanted to approach?
I just need a little bit more time. I mean, I live in a hotel, so I pay daily.
I'm sorry, what?
I live in a hotel, so I pay daily. I'm working right now, so I just need more time to, prove.
All right, I understand your situation, but this is set for today and it's going today, okay? All right, thank you. Are you all ready on Villarreal? All right, thank you.
Whenever the court's ready, Your Honor.
All right, just give me 2 minutes to do this, then I'll take that up.
No.
Morning, Your Honor. How are you?
Good morning, great. Yeah, it's Monday.
Yes.
All right, we're going to go on the record. The court is calling 2020 CR 8435, State of Texas versus Roger Villarreal. Can our parties approach and announce for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar.
Defense?
Eli Rico.
And are you Mr. Villarreal? Mr. Villarreal, I'm going to show you 2 documents. The first is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. The next is state's motion to supplement pending motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them? Are you the same Roger Villarreal who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2020 CR 8435 for the offense of theft, $30,000 up to $150,000 on July 27, 2021 for a period of 5 years? Is that you? State?
Violated condition number 4 on or about the 15th day of September 2022 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Roger Villarreal, did then and there fail to show proof of employment as directed by the court supervision officer in violation of condition number 4.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Violated condition number 16 on or about the 26th day of September 2022 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Roger Villarreal, did then and there fail to acquire a drug patch as directed by the supervision officer in violation of condition number 16.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Your Honor, state waives all the violations.
Any objections to the state's waiver?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, to the left of me, if y'all can't whisper, then you all need to wait till this hearing is over with. All right. Did you understand by pleading true to violation 4 and 16, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand? Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violations 4 and 16?
Yes, sir.
Court will find 4 and 16 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement is to alter and amend for a jail sanction of 14 days. ISP, a drug patch for 90 days, followed by monthly urinalysis testing, 180 days of GPS monitoring, tracking only. The defendant is to pay $200 a month for restitution. Restitution is to become a priority on the fee scale. There's no travel permitted except for Travis County in order for the defendant to address a pending case up there. And the defendant is to write no additional checks.
Is that the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Are you asking the court to follow that
I
agreement?
am, Your Honor.
All right, the court will deny the motion, alter and amend conditions to include GPS tracking until further notice. There's $200 a month to restitution. The defendant is allowed to leave the county for legal matters only.
Your Honor, if I may bring up one issue.
Mhm.
he has been incarcerated for 30 days already. If we be given credit for that,
I'm not giving him a jail sanction.
I understand.
So, all right, so he's to travel for legal matters only. And there is going to be the UA hotline. And field visits 2 times per month for 3 months. Is there anything else from either side?
I think the only other part of the agreement was ISP, Your Honor. I don't know if you were going to.
I think that the GPS tracking will take care of that. Yes.
Your Honor, I just wanted to double check.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Who's here on Gregory Morrison? Court is calling 2021 CR 1160, State of Texas versus Gregory Morrison. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Ryan Grimmer for the state of Texas.
for the defense?
Johnny Cisneros for the defense, Your Honor.
And you are Mr. Morrison? All right, according to the plea bargain agreement, there are no applications, and of course, you're not eligible. The punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 30 years. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court found you guilty. Are both parties ready to proceed? State?
Yes, Judge.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
Yes, Judge.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report? State?
None from the state.
Defense?
No, ma'am.
Defense, do you have any witnesses?
I do not.
All right, state, any witnesses?
We do, Judge. We have 2 witnesses.
All right, if you could call your first witness, please.
First witness we call, Judge, is Gwen Nelson.
Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. You need to keep your voice up so that the court reporter can hear. And I tell you what, let's do this. State, if you can switch with her so she can be closer to the court reporter.
Sure.
If you state your name for the record.
Gwendolyn Nelson.
All right, state.
Yes, Judge. Ms. Nelson, can you tell the judge what your relationship is to Ann Black?
She was my sister. She was my older sister. Baby of the family. She came through for me so many times in life. She was truly like a big sister. She was like everybody's best friend. I remember one time when I was about 9 months pregnant and I was taking care of my brother who's handicapped, and he had gotten sick. He'd thrown up everywhere. And Ann just happened to call me at that moment. What are you doing? I said, I'm just in tears. And she said, don't do anything. I'm coming over there. She drove 15 minutes, was over there in no time, cleaned up the whole mess for me. That was just one time that she came through. After my brother was injured in his accident, he has a traumatic brain injury. He got very, very sick. My mom had to take him, this is after my father had passed away. My mom had to take him to Dallas. They stayed in Dallas for 2 months and just dropped everything. She went with my mom and she took care of Coleman and she took care of my mom because my mom was older and ailing too and couldn't do things on her own. Ann was that person to everybody. When you thought you were on your own and didn't know what you were gonna do, Ann popped up every time. Don't know how she knew, but she was always there for you, 100%. That's what she was to everybody she met. And most people, if you talk to her, they would say, Ann was my best friend. Because Ann was everyone's best friend, because that's what she was to people. She was a saving grace. When you didn't know what you were going to do, Ann showed up.
And Gwen, can you just, for the judge's clarification, your Ann's younger sister, can you tell the judge how many siblings Ann had?
Ann had 6 siblings total.
And where was she in terms of the order?
So Ann was 3rd or 4th. Her and Courtney are identical twins. So, and I believe Courtney came out first, so Ann was 4th.
And Courtney, Ann's twin, is here today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also the brother who you mentioned is also here in the courtroom,
Yes.
correct? Can you tell the judge from the siblings' perspective how how this has affected you guys not having Ann anymore.
It's hard. It's hard. My mom since passed away. I think the news of what happened to Ann definitely escalated that. We have my brother still to take care of. She has grandkids that she's not gonna get to see to grow up. She has kids that she's never gonna see that they turned out really great. And see them as grow as mothers, you know what I mean? See them as. We're gonna miss her. Taking care of my brother's a full-time job and I'm gonna miss her help and her guidance and that.
Excuse me. We're on the record, so no talking in the box. Yes.
Ms. Nelson, is there anything else you want the judge to know before she sentences Gregory Morrison for the murder of Ann?
I kind of put it in my letter, but I want to touch on the fact that Ann and I went to church one time. She was saved that day. She accepted Jesus Christ as Savior. The pastor asked us all to stay afterwards and to pray. Before I knew it, everybody in that church had a hand on Ann. Everybody did, and it was just an overwhelming. It took over everything. And when we were done, we all talked about how we felt that light coming from it. Ann had a light, and that's the way a lot of people described her. She had a light coming from her. And so if you were with her long enough, you felt that light, you know, and she made sure you were always taken care of. She made sure that your feelings were taken care of. She was always the first one to respond and make sure that your heart was good, your soul was good.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Defense.
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank
And
you.
I'm so sorry for this.
Thank you.
All right, call your next witness.
Judge, we would call Kristen Nelson and Black's daughter.
Could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. Just make sure you keep your voice up so that the court reporter can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you state your name for the record?
Kirsten Nelson,
All right, state.
Kirsten, can you tell the judge who you are to Ann Black?
she was my mom. Great mom.
Can you tell me, were you Ann's only daughter?
No, it was me and my little sister. She practically dedicated her lives to us. She was a great mom. She did everything with us, and she was a mom to everybody. She had everybody's kids always.
Can you tell the judge a little bit about how, what Ann was like as a mom to you growing up?
My mom did everything. She was a great mom. There was never a day we sat around the house. It was me, my sister, and my cousins always. In the summer, it was the river every day, or going to a park, or going out of town, taking random trips. She always made sure we were happy. That was her number one thing, was to make sure her kids and everybody else's kids were happy. She was a great mom.
And before she passed away, you had kids, correct?
Yes, I have 3 kids, so she has 3 grandchildren. She did not get to meet her granddaughter because she was taken from us. But she loved her grandbabies. Whether she was here or not, she made it every day almost. She made it a point to even video call to see her grandson. She loved her grandbabies very much.
And can you tell the judge how difficult it was to explain to at least your older children what had happened?
It's hard. I don't think they still understand. I know my oldest daughter does not understand. My son doesn't understand yet. But it's very hard I can't even call my mom. I didn't get to call her when I gave birth to my last baby because she was taken from us.
Is there anything else that you want to tell the judge before she sentences Gregory Morrison about your mom?
She was just a great person. There's nothing that will ever justify her being taken away from us the way she was. I know you know that. Life has been very hard without her. You know, I can't call my mom. I'm only 25 years old. I need to call my mom still, and I can't. I hope that takes into aspect.
We'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
I don't have any questions, and I'm so sorry.
All right, is that your last witness state?
It is, Judge.
All right, Mr. Morrison, you can come back over. All right, the court will hear argument state. The punishment is, according to the agreement, to be assessed at a cap of 30 years. What are you requesting, state?
Because we're requesting 30 years, Judge. Mr. Morrison has, I believe you have the criminal history. He has been committing crimes in 3 states dating back to the 70s. Essentially, his entire life, he's been committing crimes wherever he's been. He has 17 felony convictions dating back to the 70s over 3 states, covering offenses from drug offenses to assault to weapon charges. And all of this culminated with an escalation to the case before the court today. I think at this point, Judge, he's been a criminal his whole life, and it has escalated to now a family who is going to have to go on without someone in their life who they cared about deeply. I know that you've read the PSI, and I expect that in the police reports, it said that that this may have been a disagreement over money. However, no disagreement over money should have led to a 42-year-old mother being shot and dying surrounded by strangers in front of a gas station as the person who did it runs away, jumps in a car, and drives away from the scene. She lays there dying in front of a gas station by herself. This is a case where we believe that Mr. Morrison is a danger to society. If he's willing to kill someone over money, it's just a continuation of all of the criminal history he's had his entire life, and we believe he should get all 30 years. We asked for those 30 years on behalf of Ann Black's family because that's what he deserves for what he did. We think that any remorse shown in the PSI is just remorse now that he's facing the consequences. At the time, he left Ann Black sitting there on the pavement, like I mentioned, and fled the scene. And now a family is sentenced to a life sentence without someone in their family who they cared about very much. We'd ask that you sentence him to 30 years in prison for the murder.
Defense.
If I may first, Your Honor. On my behalf and on behalf of Mr. Morrison, we really truly feel bad, very badly for your family. I hope and pray that you can get better and go on and just keep those wonderful memories that you have of your mom and your sister and make uplifted. Judge, in my 33 years as an attorney, or 33 plus years as an attorney, it's probably the first time I've come into a case where my hands are handcuffed. They're handcuffed in a sense in that I have a man here who's had criminal cases charged against him practically all of his life since he was probably 17 years of age. So my hands are handcuffed in that. What can I argue to the court that will make sense? I find 2 things that I can argue. One, he's been using drugs all of his life. That's no excuse. That's the reason. We're not here to make excuses, John. The reason is he's been using drugs all his life and he hasn't been himself. He never got a chance to grow up and be the man that he should have been because of the consuming of drugs. And we're talking about methamphetamine, we're talking about cocaine, marijuana, et cetera, so that's pretty bad. The bigger argument that I have, though, is if Mr. Morrison is 20 years old and he gets 30 years, assuming that he would parole out in 15, excuse me, I'm not feeling well today.
Oh, no, there's something in the air in this courtroom. Everybody's been
I
coughing.
think I'm allergic to my wife, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I haven't gotten confirmation on that yet. We'll be married 50 years in March.
All right.
Judge, if Mr. Morrison was 20 years old and he got 30 years and he did all 30 years, he would come home at age 50. At his age, at age of 64, if he gets out at 15 years, which is a minimum, he'll be 79 years old. Basically, he's getting a life term, Your Honor, where pretty much in this jurisdiction here, the only time people get life pretty much is when it's a capital murder case. It's life without parole or execution, as Her Honor knows. All we're asking for is to give him a chance to come home late in his life And we're asking for 20 years, Your Honor. I know that's asking a lot. I understand, and I understand the family's feelings, and I really, truly in the bottom of my heart, feel sorry for them. I can't imagine losing my mom like that. In fact, I'll give you a very, very short story. My dad's cutting the grass one day. A man that knew my dad would say hi to him all the time, would stop by, and my dad's mowing the grass. He goes into the house. My mom's looking out the window to see if he's okay, and the man is in the house robbing the house. Took all her jewelry and everything. Mom kept her composure. She walked to the garage and hid. The man could have killed her. And I put myself in these people's positions like, wow, what could have I felt? But that's another story. And I know I couldn't, it would have been hard to live with. I just see Mr. Morrison. I've gotten to know him. Now that he's not on drugs, Judge, he's a very fine man, if I can say that. And I'm not saying that tongue in cheek, because he's sober. He is the man that he should have been all his life. Very polite, very nice, very accommodating, very everything. And we appreciate each other. We like each other. I don't like what he did, and he knows that, but I see another side of him. And unfortunately, the other side of him, if he continues to stay drug-free, he'll spend the majority part of the rest of his life in the penitentiary. And so I don't prolong this, Judge. We're asking for 20 years so he does not get a life sentence. That's where we're at. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Morrison, is there anything you wish to say?
Well, I'd like to offer my condolences to everyone that was affected by this. You know, I know it was a horrible thing, and if I could go back and undo it, I would undo it. There was a lot of drugs and alcohol involved, and I mean, it was just an epitome of what's not legal. And I'm sorry. I'm real sorry.
And what do you think is a fair sentence for you?
Well, at my age, I think 20 years is going to take me up there where I'll walk out on a cane or a set of crutches.
All right. All right, the court is finding you guilty. The court will give you credit for any time served. The court will sentence you to 28 years in the prison. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing?
Not with regards to sentencing, Judge, we do have victim impact.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Because it's a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. You understand? All right. And I know sometimes my Southern accent comes out a lot, so that's 2-8. All right, you say you have victim impact?
We do.
All right, Mr. Morrison, they're going to speak to you. I require that everyone treats everyone with respect, so just internalize what's being said. Yes. Yes.
May we begin?
Yes.
Today I'm supposed to have the opportunity to tell my mom about all the reasons I'm so angry for away from us. This shouldn't have been an opportunity I had to be given in the first place. Anything that I say today will not bring my mom back, so this is solely for me. And for a final closure for myself on accepting the fact that my mom will never come back. You took her mother from me, but not just from me, but from my little sister. 4 months after you took her, when she not needed her mom the most, her dad died. She couldn't call her mom. She had nobody. You took my mom. You took my children's grandmother. My daughter will never get to meet her grandmother. I had to name my daughter after her grandma. She will never get to meet, only hear stories about. I didn't get to call my mom when I had my daughter. I didn't get to see the pictures of the baby when she was born.
She doesn't get to video call and see her grandbabies anymore. Like I said, they will only hear stories because you took her from us. You took such a beautiful soul, and I know I will never understand or try to understand why you did what you did. So I'm choosing to tell you now, I hope nothing good for you. I don't think my forgiveness is the forgiveness you're gonna need for where you're going. I will not be giving you the pleasure of forgiving, not forgiving something on it. But my closure is near, and this was the final step. I don't thank you for listening, as you didn't have a choice. I start. My brother, Coleman, who needed his sister. He needed somebody to help out. It's a time job. Where he's at and where Anne's at, there was no choice made for that. You've made a choice over and over and over again since you were what, 17 years old, to do drugs, to get high, to waste your life. God gives you one and you wasted it. You pulled the trigger and you sealed your fate. So go right away the way you should, because your soul is already rotten. I worry about the relationship you two have. I think you should think within yourself and within your heart who you're tolerating with, because he is rotten. His soul is rotten. He is evil. You are evil. You've done the worst thing you could ever possibly do, and it's been building. Just like our prosecutor said, it's been building since you were 17 years old. You have been, and we've all heard the bragging that you've done of killing my sister. We've all heard it. So don't sit here today and say you're sorry because your lawyer told you to, because we know it's a lie. We've heard the phone calls of you bragging to everybody about what you did. You didn't just lose your temper and shoot her once. No, you shot her 4 times. You stood over her body and you aimed at her head and you shot. There's no remorse there. You're not sorry. You're just sorry you're getting in trouble. You're a big bad baby who threw a temper tantrum. And this is where it leads you. Your soul is rotten, and I hope you rot there in jail. The least you could do is die there. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. State. That's a request. Thank you, Mr. Cisneros. Yes. Who's here on Crystal Martinez? Crystal Martinez.
For a second, I went out there and was pouring my.
Who's here on Alejandra Almazan? Yes. And Norma, we're starting tomorrow at 1:30, correct? All right, so anybody who's not taken care of today on this morning docket, they need to come back tomorrow, because I need to leave at 11:15. All right.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Court is calling. Everyone needs to be quiet. Court is calling 2022 CR 7545, State of Texas versus Alejandra Almazan. Thank you. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Sparks.
Defense?
Ed Garza for Miss Almazan.
And are you Miss Almazan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Correct.
We did, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Miss, I'm showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes or no?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm going to show you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of driving while intoxicated third or more? That's a 3rd-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Off the record. All right, everyone who's behind the court reporter can't talk behind the court reporter because she can't hear. We're back on the record. Did you understand if you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement? If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Sir.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, yes,
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
she does.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Almazan, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishments be assessed at 6 years in the prison. There's $1,000 fine. State recommends community supervision. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
It is, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 6 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 150 hours community service restitution, the DWI intervention course, VIP live, ignition interlock for half the term, 2 years Texas driver's license suspension, and 10 days in the Bexar County Jail. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offense is charged and the indictment. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence.
Yes, Judge. States Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, I'm gonna show you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yeah, we'd ask the court to follow the plea agreement. And I just have a couple of real quick issues if I could take it with the court. My
Yes.
client is presently under the GPS monitor.
Mhm.
She's asked me to ask the court if it's possible for her to be taken off of it at this time now, that she's going to be placed on probation. And also, and for the reason that she has 2 small children, there's a lot of doctor's appointments that she needs to go to and whatever, and sometimes she has a difficult time trying to get excused or to go out and take care of these matters. Also, Judge, insofar as the 10 days are concerned, she served about 90 days in jail before she bonded out. I'd ask the court to take those into consideration.
All right. Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do?
I verify loans. I just got paid on Friday, but I was telling my attorney there was a little bit of a dilemma when I was taking the bus back. I lost my credit card, so I have this check saying that I just got paid basically. And I was trying to make a payment, but like I said, with the GPS and everything, they don't let me leave on Saturday or Sunday. So I was just wanting to make a payment, but I have it, and I have it right here that I can make a payment today.
Okay. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And know that you will have a drug test today.
Yes, it should come back, clean.
Why do you say it should come back clean?
Oh, it will.
Okay. You're going to do a drug test today. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 6 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 6 years. There's $1,000 fine to be probated, parenting classes, and that will be with Triple T. 150 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to get it, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. Parenting classes, proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider with minors. DWI intervention, VIP live, ignition interlock for half the term. 2 years Texas driver's license suspension. There's to be 30 days GPS tracking in lieu of the 10 days in the Bexar County Jail. I'm sorry, with regards to GPS probation, she's going to be on 30 days on GPS, but she's allowed employment in whatever medical she has with her children.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's 30 days GPS, excused for employment and medical appointments. There's to be a UA today. And if she's positive, then do a TAP evaluation. And if the TAP evaluation recommends inpatient treatment, I'm going to want intensive outpatient treatment. I'm going to want sober meetings at least 2 times per week. Field visits 2 times per month. And there's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. And we'll do the UA here. Is there anything else she needs probation?
Or after the urinalysis here, how often would you like to wait?
After the UA here, I'm going to want random UAs. All right, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, other than, like you said, if I need that outpatient treatment, I would do anything to do that.
Well, do you need outpatient treatment?
To be honest, yes. I think I should do like meetings and everything. So I would just like to get help with that or with the counselor.
Okay.
And
They will help you with that. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
yes, sir.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you. You have a good one.
Thank you, you too. Court is calling 2022 CR 8048, State of Texas versus Joshua Daniel Hernandez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Marcus Sanders.
For the defense?
Tim Oltersdorf from Joshua Hernandez.
All right, we're here for sentencing. You entered a plea on September 6th of no contest. You applied for deferred adjudication. According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 1. Punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. The state opposes your application. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Judge.
Defense?
Yes, ma'am. Myself and Joshua have both had a chance to review the PSI and the TAP, Your Honor.
Any objections, state?
None.
Defense?
Joshua, are there any, right now, this question will be to you, are there any mistakes in the PSI or the TAP that we need to bring to the judge's attention, mistakes, things are incorrect? No, Your Honor.
All right, any witnesses state,
No witnesses.
defense, any witnesses?
Joshua Hernandez.
All right, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state. I'm sorry, defense.
Thank you, Judge. Joshua, I wanted to ask you a few questions about the TAP evaluation. It looks like the recommendation, and you and I have discussed this before our approach, substance abuse treatment facility, otherwise known as SATA, which is 120 days. You're aware of that, right? Now, are you willing to do that?
Yes,
Can you speak up louder so the judge can hear you?
yes, Judge, I'm willing to do that. I got a couple kids that I haven't made yet, and I have another one that's gonna be born in February. So, I would like to go to lifetime because I know that it's shorter than 120 days, but if not, that is perfect.
Thank you, Joshua. Joshua, I note for the record, basically that your history, you have several open misdemeanors in county court 12 and then a couple before. But the thing that jumps out at me is you do not seem like you have any case of any type of a violent nature. Have you ever assaulted the mother of your children or anything that's not on here, anything like that? Never had any kind of case involving weapons or assault of anybody, it looks like, huh? Except for this discharge of the weapon, you shut it up in the air apparently or something, right?
On the floor.
On the floor? Okay, looks like that was a while back. Can you tell us briefly about that case, just what the facts were? Why were you shooting on the floor?
I just bought a new gun. I turned 21 and bought a gun, wanted to try it out, and cop put up a quick second.
Okay, but was this an accident? Was this, I mean, you're on the floor usually isn't a purposeful thing. What were you doing when you were off on the floor?
I just wanted to try it out.
Was this inside the house or was this
It was
outside?
outside.
Outside. So when you say floor, you're not meaning inside.
Yeah,
of
it was on
floor.
the ground.
Okay, thank you. But I've refreshingly heard you say, as the TAP has mentioned and talked about, you're willing to throw yourself into the setup wholeheartedly, correct?
Yes, sir.
You would prefer outpatient if the judge would do that, but
Yeah.
you're willing to do completely throw yourself into setup, correct?
Yes.
Let me ask you about the children that you said you hadn't seen. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about that? What are their ages?
They're like 3 months old.
3 months old? Now, let me think about this. I know you've been in jail at least 150 days. Am I correct on that? Because we've been to county court 12 and the judge in there wanted you to do 180 or something. And we had a discussion on Zoom about that. You were present to listen to the judge, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we gathered the idea from her thoughts that the plea bargain wasn't sufficient, that was being brought before her by the state. She basically told us no to the plea bargain, correct? You were present, and that she apparently wanted more time, right?
Yes.
And so that would mean when we back up now to for the time you've been in jail, when you say the ages of the kids have been 3 months, that would well encompass the time you meant about 150 days that you've been in jail. 150 real days, is that correct? Okay, thank you. Judge, that's all I have for the court except the brief argument.
All right, I have a question. Mr. Hernandez, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
No.
So why are you stealing packages from people?
It was just a dumb mistake.
No, that's not what a mistake is. That you're making choices. They may be considered dumb choices, but they're choices you're making. So people are ordering things from Amazon. Maybe it's for their relative, maybe it's for their children. Why are you stealing it?
I'll be honest with you.
Please do.
A friend was doing it, and he was getting pretty interesting items, and I just wanted to try it out, and it cost me.
Yeah, and what are those teardrops on your face for?
A family member.
All right, the court has reviewed the PSI report. Is there anything that either party wishes to stay in argument state?
I would like to, the no contact order with Alexandria Lopez. I would like for you to drop it down to a no hostile contact. Me and her have a good relationship, and I would never hurt her in any way. So And she's pregnant with the kid that's gonna be born in February.
You mean she's pregnant with your child?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, here's the thing, you made horrible choices. So I'm not gonna lift that no contact order.
Judge, I just say, or note that he's on probation currently and he picked up these offenses, so we're asking that you deny his application.
All right,
Just basically, he's never had any kind of a violent felony. I mean, he's never had any felony before, excuse me. He's had no violent history at all. He's 24 years old. I think he really, I would like to see him be able to do lifetime because it doesn't appear to be, well, whatever the court wants to do. I mean, he's willing to do whatever you'd like him to do. I have to sit and propose to you what you guys need to bring it up. Obviously, wants to, yeah, he's been in jail a very long time, as we just noted. Like I said, he seems like a very compliant individual to me. I haven't seen anything that indicates he's ganged up or anything. He's been respectful all the way down the line. Even when the judge in 12 we was in, she was saying no, and he thought he was going to get that out of the way, and it realized it wouldn't, still fine and stayed completely level.
all right. The court is going to deny your application, find you guilty, taking consideration 688-274, 688-273, and destroy the firearm that is the B as in boy, LKAHSSFXS9 with a serial number TF as in Frank 76421A06034. Court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with Alexandria Lopez, and I'll retain jurisdiction.
Okay.
I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
Who's here on Laura Botello? All right, where's Botello?
She's right here, Judge.
Where are your documentations for probation?
So, Judge, we have the referral orders. She was able to go see a doctor, PCP, on Saturday. She's been referred to see a pulmonologist, but we do not have the letter that the court is requesting yet. The two pulmonologists that she has spoken to, the earliest that she can be seen for as a new patient is February. The other one that I've spoken to is her previous pulmonologist, and the earliest that she can be seen is December. What I would like to discuss with the court at this point would be alternatives with the breath test that she is currently ordered to have a retrial. Ms. Botello is working, and we would accept an alternative such as the scram. However, the cost would be prohibitive for her. I don't know if the court is able to reduce the costs or waive some of the costs.
I'll ask that the cost be waived. I'll place her on scram. She needs to provide that documentation to pretrial services.
We'll get that as soon as we can, Judge. I did discuss with the CLO. Apparently there is a waiting period for scram devices, and we weren't sure how long that is. Once again, would the court have a bit more like to handle that?
She is not to be taken off of the breathalyzer until she's on something.
Okay. We can also do UAs, Judge, if the court would prefer to have that. Her work schedule is Monday to Friday, 7 to 4. So if we can
work with pretrial on that as an alternative.
What I'm gonna do is, the in-home breathalyzer on reduced levels until spraying device is available.
Yes, Judge.
All right, is there anything else?
That'll be all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
No, I have to, take a break. It's, 11:15, and they can continue to confirm. Who? Who's your guy?
It's Jose Villarreal. He's a no-show judge.
Okay. We'll take this on the record, and then after that, the court's gonna change its mind. Court is calling 2022 CR 7606, 7607, 7608, 7609, and 7610, State of Texas versus Jose Luis Villarreal. And Deputy, if you could make that announcement.
I already did, Your Honor, he is not out there.
All right, could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Marcus Sanders.
Defense?
Anthony Cantrell. Judge, we would be ready, but he's not present.
All right, this hearing was scheduled at 9 a.m. It's now 11:15 a.m. Defense, where's your client?
I have no idea, Your Honor.
And the deputy has made an announcement outside the courtroom, and the deputy informed me that your client did not answer state.
Judge, we're asking that his bond be forfeited and a warrant issued.
All right, that will be granted in each cause number. Counsel, if you're able to get in touch with your client makes an appearance, the court will reconsider.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
I'm sorry.
Oh, may I be excused?
Yes, maybe excuse.
Appreciate it.
The UA on Almanza came back naked. I'm like, oh, that's good news. Yes. I need to come to for the sake because I'm not sure.
We will be back. We gotta start the jury up at 1:30.
Are we not coming back to another hearing at 11:15? Or?
No. I have to do some work by 11:30. So,
okay,
we're gonna take our break
until
all of these cases will come back tomorrow.
Thank you, Judge.